What is up and what is going down? Kimberly and Holden here.
And in today's video, we are going to answer some questions about labor. Holden, you want to kickstart the questions?
All right. What's one thing you wish you would have known before you went into labor?
So for me personally, I wish I would have looked more into pain relief, like for contractions. I remember when I would get back pain, like back labor, it would be so strong, and my nurse would come in and press right on my pressure points. And Holden did that a few times, but we just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, if we would have practiced it,
yeah,
it would have been better.
Yeah, so honestly, I wish we would have done that. And then I remember they came into the room and they showed me I had to watch this epidural video and all of the side effects you can get from it and all that. And I just remember being scared. I was not prepared. I didn't know that you could get all of those things from an epidural, and I was like, oh crap, do I want it? I was just second guessing myself, but then I was like, no, I need the epidural, because what if I'm in a lot of pain or whatever? But it was just stressful for me to watch a video about that, when I'm going through the labor process. I wish I would have looked into it more. But next time. Do you have any thoughts?
I guess, seeing movies and stuff, knowing who your doctor was gonna be beforehand.
Oh.
I know it's in our situation, they're changing shifts and stuff, but it would have been cool to know who that person was, or maybe met some doctors there and talk to them, because you have this essentially for us, a stranger come in, and it's this big moment in your life.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to trust them.
For a lot of people, they do know their doctor beforehand, but for us, we couldn't choose. And yeah, that would have been nice to meet. Luckily, we got
amazing people.
Yeah, who was on shift when I actually went into labor was so much better than the first doctor we met. The first doctor we met was not kind.
All of our nurses were amazing.
Yeah, all our nurses that we got were so amazing, and it was a good experience overall. And I ended up getting the epidural, and I was thankful for that. But
okay, number 2. What was your biggest fear about going into labor?
My biggest fear was something would happen to Rosalie. I was scared that she would get stuck. I remember I watched a labor and delivery vlog beforehand, and in that vlog that happened. So when I was pushing, I pushed 8 times on the last time, because I knew I could feel her head coming out, and I was like, okay, I don't want her to get stuck. So I pushed so many times, and I know that they have to vacuum her up. So I guess I was just fearful that she would get hurt or whatever, and she wouldn't come out breathing. But when you're in the labor process, it is all your fear, you don't really think about that. You're just okay, let me get this baby out. And yes, I thought about it for a second, but it wasn't I was scared of that. I just knew what I had to do, and I did it. I pushed really hard, and I got her out pretty fast. But yeah, what do you think?
It's kind of a scary situation, I think, because I think obviously everybody thinks about what could go wrong, and it's one of those unique scenarios where you could lose 2 people.
Yeah.
At the same time. I could be left without a...
Were you thinking that
during
the process?
You could be left, in the actual moment, you just want everything. And they're talking about stuff like bleeding and tears, and I guess knowing what words to hear for stuff that is serious or stuff that's just minor. Right after Rosalie came out, they told us that she had jaundice, and I didn't know what that meant.
Him and my sister were freaking out.
Your first instinct is, oh, it's something bad. As someone who doesn't work in the medical field, you have no idea. They just came in, oh, your baby has jaundice, and walked away. They explained it later, but those kind of things. So I guess maybe knowing more about what complications would be, so you could be prepared when you hear that. And then when they're just talking, saying, oh, there's a tear or there's bleeding, and it's something that's normal, you don't have to worry as much.
It's funny because for me, I feel like I wasn't thinking about myself or anything like that, But after going through the process, next time I might be a little bit more fearful, which is kind of bad. Just because I know what's gonna happen and everything. Also, what helped me a lot was playing Christian music in the background. Like, I remember when I was pushing, it was just so encouraging and it made me feel strong, and I was like, I'm made to do this, you know? It was amazing.
What was the hardest thing during recovery or postpartum?
I would say the hardest part for me was getting used to our new life. Like, I wasn't prepared with how much it was gonna be on me, meaning the breastfeeding. Like, the breastfeeding was like, and you did an amazing job. Like, he would change all her diapers and like, but even then I was like, whoa, this is a lot on me. And I thought it was gonna be more equal, and it was just overwhelming at first how much you're breastfeeding, because when you first have a baby, you're just nonstop breastfeeding and your boobs hurt like crazy, and it's just a whole new life. I also had really bad postpartum anxiety, so I was really afraid of SIDS, and I remember I would check on her breathing. I think you were too.
Yeah, I wake up like every 15 minutes, it felt like.
Yeah, we were constantly waking up, checking on her and whatever, but I think that was very difficult for us to get through. And looking back at it, there's nothing you can do, you know, like, meaning like for her breathing and stuff like that. Like, you just gotta trust God that she's gonna be okay. Also, and then it's hard in the beginning, but it was honestly such a good experience, and like, it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah. What was your biggest challenge while breastfeeding?
Oh my goodness. I got mastitis like probably like 4 times actually throughout my first year of breastfeeding. I breastfed until a year, and thankfully I made it, but getting mastitis was so awful. And I got it on vacation in Hawaii.
It always popped up time, like, or at a wedding. It was always at like major
right before
moments.
my mom's wedding. So it was awful. And I think what happened was I breastfed on my right boob too much, and I wasn't timing it. I didn't think that was that important. And even my mom was like, you need to breastfeed on your left more, you're choosing your right. And I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I didn't think I was doing it that much, but apparently I was, because I got mastitis in my boob like 4 times because I kept trying to equal it out, and I could never equal it out because she wanted my right boob. So.
Okay, lastly, what adjustments did you have to make as a couple, and any tips on how to stay close?
Do you want to answer this one first?
So, you know, getting less free time, having this other responsibility is something you have to adjust to. So making your time more purposeful is an adjustment you have to make. And I think a mindset you had to make is also that it's not going to last forever. So this stage of your life with the newborn is short. You'll get through it. Anything you do new is going to be hard at first, but as you gain more experience, it'll be easier. And just tips is having the mentality to make sure that you focus on each other. And yes, you have this child in your life is a priority and is very important, but your relationship is still a priority. And working on your relationship isn't selfish, because the best thing you can do for your baby is make sure that you have a healthy relationship, because the best thing for the kid is a strong relationship between their parents, and it makes you be a better parent. So when you it's all about your mentality, I think, is the way, and being able to look past the short term and into the long term.
Yeah, I think going into it, for me, I didn't think it was going to affect our relationship that much. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, because I didn't grow up with babies around me, so I didn't realize how much it affects you. And we had to have a lot of conversations about what we want from each other, and you know, how to prioritize our time together, but also our time just us, like just by ourselves. Like, because in the first year for sure it was hard for me to have time by myself. Like, I always prioritized hanging out with Rosalie and him and I didn't prioritize myself. So I think just having conversations about it, you know, keeping in check with each other is like the main thing that you should do, you know? Don't you agree?
Yes.
Like, I feel like those conversations helped us.
Can't fix anything if you just suffer in silence.
Yeah, like communication is everything.
That wraps up our labor questions. We hope the insight into our experience can be helpful to you in your own journey. And
I hope it helps, you know, everyone's experience is different. So, I mean, I hope that you guys all have good experiences and it teaches you something, what you heard today. And thank you so much for watching.
if you liked that video, drop us a like, subscribe, and until next time, stay blessed and do your best. If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe, and until next time, stay blessed, and Kim didn't do it.
Oh!